Hello, everyone, and welcome to Strange Coordinates, a show where we use brands as compass points to lead us to fascinating stories. I'm Topher Burns.
And I am Robert Baylog. Topher and I started an ad agency called Territorial to help brands find their place in the world. And shocker, we're not the only people in the world who love brands. So on Stranger Coordinates, that's strange with an R in parentheses, clever, we focus on a specific theme and bring a traveling companion along with us on the journey.
The theme for our discussion today is going to be the long love affair between brands and media and entertainment, which was drawn out from our first episode, Sweet Satisfaction, in which, as many of you will probably recall, Mr. Goodbar made a notable appearance in a touchstone of 70s disco culture.
I mean, touchstone. It was sort of in a battle, an epic battle with the behemoth of 70s disco culture, Saturday Night Fever.
Yeah,
I would say it went down in round two. Yeah, yeah.
But you know, the candy bar had the last laugh because it's still
That's
around.
true. That's right. Okay, so we're not going to explore this idea alone. Joining our expedition today is the co-founder and president of Antenna, an analytics company focused on the subscription economy. And if you've seen an article talking about churn rates in streaming, for example, it probably quotes their data. Prior to starting Antenna 5 years ago, he led growth in analytics at a couple small digital media startups like Axios and Mike. And he's still grateful to have escaped the eye of Sauron, otherwise known as investment banking, 10 years ago. Please welcome to the podcast, Rameez Tase.
Nice to meet you too. And having listened to the first episode about Mr. Goodbar, I learned a lot about chocolate. I learned a lot about weird disco culture, finding Mr. Goodbar, looking for Mr. Goodbar, Topher. I did not watch the movie, but what you didn't tell me is it stars Diane Keaton. So this was like a major movie.
This wasn't a pretty big one.
Yeah, this wasn't an indie.
It also wasn't sort of the confectionery inspired film that maybe you would have hoped based on the title. It was pretty dark.
Yeah,
I think we can call it a coincidence.
I would not do a sort of double header of like Willy Wonka and then looking for Mr. Goodbar. I think it might be quite a disappointing night for the family.
Depends where you wanted to go. As long as you don't start with...
There were a couple of disappointed families back in the 80s or 90s or 70s.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. So, Rameez, we had the great pleasure of working with you early days of Territorial on some work with Antenna. And correct me if this is an unfair assessment. Did you start off as maybe something of a brand skeptic in terms of the power that a brand has can play in a company? Or am I just kind of rewriting history in my mind?
I think that's true. I think you changed my mind, or my mind has been changed over time.
That's
Robert's
fantastic.
Recording this noted.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the great benefits of doing this job is working really closely with people who have such a deep stake in the company and who maybe have very, very different backgrounds than us. And so I think, I remember that process being rewarding on our side as well, because what we took from you and from our client partners in that regard was like, a real rigor for being thoughtful about how we can help a fledgling business, do its best and grow in the world. So not to start off on a sentimental note, but that was a really great time for us to get involved with you all. So.
Well, fast forward several years, and you can ask anyone, but the brand is extremely strong, and we punch way above our weight because of the consistency and everything of the brand. And, I don't think you could call it a skeptical view. I think I sort of had the view that, like, any brand can be a good brand as long as the product underlying it is good. And so in that regard, one corollary there is like, well, then does the branding part matter if it's really undergirded by a product? I think where I've gotten to since then is that, yeah, to an extent, any brand can be a good brand. I think what matters is standing for something and for someone consistently. Mm-hmm. And I think what you all set Antenna up to do really well is to stand for a level of quality and diligence and production value, and for a specific group of consumers or audience in a very consistent way. And so there's probably other ways to do that, but we picked one really strong way. And so I think in that sense, the brand really, really matters.
Yeah, I actually also want to call out that you used a term I'd never heard before, which is anti-brand, which is super fascinating to me.
Yeah.
It's like Antibra, like it's just very, very, just a bunch of fascists or
Yeah.
anti-fascists.
Yeah.
All right, we'll have to coin Antibra.
Yeah. I'd join.
Yeah, totally.
As long as we're defending brands, I guess. Are we
Right.
prosecuting brands? No. Maybe I wouldn't join. I take it back. Rescind it.
I think you would not join.
Yeah, we would probably
Who's the
lose our
Antibra? Yeah.
Right.
we'd probably lose our business.
Yeah. Okay. Never mind. Terrible idea. I'm
Make
curious.
brands great again doesn't have as good of a ring to it that Bug got. Sorry, we're
Now that you
losing
mentioned it, that
audience
was
right now.
yeah, that was kind of Ogilvy's. It was very similar to Ogilvy's mantra for a while, which was "Make brands matter," and it's like I never really put those together.
Oh.
Yeah, but make brands great again for sure.
I
Should have known. Confessions of an Advertising Man was before its time.
Totally, yeah. It was definitely a screed, an anti-capitalist screed in hiding.
So, Rameez, sticking with today's theme, we talked about kind of like the love affair between brands and entertainment and media. Nothing brings brands and entertainment together quite like the world of sports. You have mentioned to us before when we were chatting about what we might want to talk about today that you feel like sports is underrated IP for brands. I would love for you to scratch that itch and tell us a little bit more about what you see there.
Yeah, for sure. We're seeing that play out in the world of streaming, which I am immersed in at Antenna. Sports, are this last bastion of everyone is watching at the same time. And so there are incredible kind of cultural moments. We're talking about the Olympics before we started recording around sports. And even 10 years ago, there were incredible cultural moments around a lot of things. And slowly but surely, all of those things have kind of gone on demand or ad hoc, which is great for a lot of reasons, but it's not great for one reason, which is scaled advertising or brand building. If you're trying to get a message across to the entire world or a huge swath of the world at one time so that it kind of seeps into the cultural zeitgeist, where do you do it now? You can't really do it at the movies. You can't even really do it in music very often because everyone's listening to a different thing at a different time. You can still do it at sports events. And so I think one of the big things that we've seen with the NBA rights just got traded earlier this month. One of the big things we've seen with sports valuations and the fact that even as this cable bundle is kind of crumbling and subscribers have gone from 80 million to 50 million in the last couple of years, sports are still more valuable than ever. The sports bubble never existed, or it certainly hasn't popped yet. The teams are more valuable than ever. And I think you can do tons and tons of analysis around it, but there's sort of like one core fundamental underlying reason, which is that they are the only thing that creates a cultural moment. And in a capitalist society, what goes hand in hand with a cultural moment for a huge amount of people? Brand advertising. And so I think there's something incredibly powerful there, and it actually is at the heart of, like you said, the love affair between brands and entertainment that is having this huge kind of web of second-order consequences. But I think it actually comes down to that one core thing.
It's interesting because even outside of the advertising space, when I started thinking about, you're mentioning these like massive moments, those are moments that brands have not just tried to pay to be a part of in the fair way or above the board way, but also tried to kind of incept themselves into. And it makes me think a lot of the Peyton Manning Super Bowl where he won and he was staring down the barrel of retirement and therefore a very different income stream ahead of him. And they asked him what he was going to do next. And he said the term Budweiser like 3 times, kind of unprompted. Like they're like, "How you feeling?" And he's like, "I'm really looking forward to sitting down with a Budweiser." Just get in a Budweiser, and then once I have that Budweiser, I'll feel. It's just like really sad to watch, but it worked. The next step from that was him doing all the commercials and
Yeah.
all that type of stuff. It reminded me a lot of kind of like how brands try and get involved in it in all different ways.
Well, let me give you the good, tasteful version of Peyton Manning Budweiser. I think it's Red Bull and specifically Red Bull Media House. And I think, if you go back to the founder of Red Bull is this crazy, crazy guy. And I've actually spoken to people at Red Bull Media House and I've asked them, like, what's the thing? What is the magic here? And multiple people that I've spoken to there have basically both said the same thing, which is that, like, you got to own the entire stack of content, like from end to end. And so what does that actually look like in practice? That looks like they sponsor the athletes. They have Red Bull TV. They actually even like put on some of the sports. So when you're thinking about skate and other kind of quote unquote extreme sports, they're actually hosting the events. So the league, belongs to Red Bull. And so in perfection, it's a brand, sells an energy drink, kind of like actually kind of a weird brand when you think about it without your association that is created by Red Bull Media House. But when you actually bring that association in, it's like awesome. It's cool.
All right, so we're warmed up. We're thinking brands. It's time for us to go to one of our favorite segments. It's called Off Brand. I'm going to ask you 3 brand-related questions that are connected to our theme. Robert doesn't know the answers either, but Rameez, you're going to be in charge of kind of like answering these questions. You have to go on record with what you think the answer is. So
Just to be clear, that there are no stakes here.
Robert's really worried about that.
People have been canceled. People have been canceled.
The stakes could not be lower.
I always think it's funny because Robert's always like, "Hey, there's nothing on the line here." And it's like,
Because-
I'm just always like, "What do you think? You think somebody's like at the front door being like, boo?"
No, because like if you just have like a personality where you hear the word test or quiz and all of a sudden you tense up because that's just ingrained in you for forever, then I just want to put people at ease that this is not one of those instances in
Robert
which
knows my
anything
South Asian
depends on-
parents have inflicted
I'm just saying.
deep trauma.
Yeah, I'm just saying that I feel that every time I see quiz, I'm like, I'm gonna nail this. And like, no, it doesn't matter. It does not matter.
I do have a little bit of like pop quiz. That sounds fun. Like,
Yeah, this is why Topher and I work so well together.
because I'm a psycho. Okay. Question 1. In the no stakes, no risk, no punishment meted out quizzes that we're doing right now, what 1982 summer blockbuster featured one of the most widely noted and successful examples of film product placement in memory, boosting sales of Hershey's Reese's Pieces by more than 85% in the weeks after the film's release?
1982.
82 summer blockbuster, successful product placement, included Hershey's Reese's Pieces.
This is definitely a sort of hint situation, Topher. I think if
If you're dialed in, do you wanna float a little hint here, or do you?
there was other notable products in this film were BMX bikes, the moon.
A very well selling product, great brand.
What else was in that?
I'll give one more hint.
Yeah.
There's a line, and the line that placed this product was Reese's Pieces.
Oh, E.T.
That's the one.
That was too good of a hint. Too easy.
I mean, that movie, I still to this day crave Reese's Pieces because of that film. I had
Reese's
never
probably
had
didn't
Reese's-
even pay for that. This was like the good old days of capitalism when
They did.
They did?
Well, they agreed to collaborate. So what happened is that actually Mars missed out on having M&Ms in the film. Spielberg went to Mars and was like, "Yo, I'm gonna do this fun coming of age thing about this alien," and they were like, "Miss me with that." And so they said, "No, you cannot use
They
are
said
a
we're
thing
into
that-
micro influencers only.
Right. And so Reese's Pieces is like, sure, and let's do some co-brand. We'll like promote. So there's like co-branded merch, and it was a wild success. And M&M's missed out on all of it.
So M&M's was like, aliens, that's too weird. We're over here sexualizing a piece of candy by putting legs and stockings on it.
Maybe that's what drove them there. They're like, we got to take more risks. Remember that Reese's Pieces disaster?
That's right. Put her in some
let's
pumps.
get sexy. Yeah.
Oh, that's
We're-
good. That's
I wish I was in that meeting. That sounds fun. Okay. Question 2. This is going to be, you're going to get a multiple choice
these are good. These are good.
decision for this one. While technically the honor might go to Tetris, depending on how you slice it, there's a case to be made that Minecraft is the most popular game of all time. Since it's an open world game, has a massive and young fan base, it's fertile ground for brand collaborations. Which of these 3 brand collaborations did I make up?
Ooh, which is
A.
not correct. You're asking which one is not real.
There are 2 that are real, and then there's one that's not, and you have to
Okay,
pick the
thank
one
you.
that I made up. A. Minecraft and Nerf create a downloadable Nerf zone where you can level up your weapons and hit an obstacle course to battle your friends. B.
Okay.
Minecraft and Burberry design a romantic series of landscapes entitled Freedom to Go Beyond that are dotted with Burberry plaid hot air balloons. C. Minecraft and Andrew WK make a Minecraft resurrected version of his long-shuttered New York nightlife venue, Santos Party House, where players can join in crazy karaoke, both Ks, crazy karaoke contest. So
Ooh.
A, Minecraft and Nerf, B, Minecraft and Burberry, or C, Minecraft and Andrew WK.
That's tough.
I'm going to say that it's definitely not Burberry because I feel like the Burberry CMO was like pretty legendary. So I'm gonna eliminate Burberry. So it's between Andrew WK and Nerf.
Okay.
I feel like I'm gonna fall into the trap you wanted me to fall into because a Minecraft Nerf gun seems like a great idea that they should do. So I would say Andrew WK is the non-partnership, but I know I'm wrong because I fell into the.
You are not wrong. You are correct.
Okay,
Oh man.
good.
Okay. I was like, this sounds awesome.
So there are Minecraft Nerf guns, and there is a Minecraft Burberry.
I don't know if they made Minecraft Nerf guns. They made a Nerf zone in Minecraft where you could shoot Minecraft Nerf darts at other your
That's pretty
friends
fun.
run around in there. The Burberry one, pretty much all the coverage of it was like, what? And I think it kind of is like, I think it's the type of thing that was made for fans of Burberry, not for fans of Minecraft. So it's for all the people who are like, oh, I love Burberry, and like, wow, they're doing such innovative stuff. The people who love Minecraft were like, you don't know what Minecraft is, do you? And they were like, we don't care. You don't have any money anyways.
But like in the context of Minecraft, to call something the freedom to go beyond seems a bit redundant, right? Like the entire thing, the whole environment is about the freedom to go beyond. Just like do whatever you want in there. It seems
Yeah.
flat.
The Burberry plaid hot air balloons, though, are pretty cute.
That is cool.
They make for a cute little screenshot.
I just want to
Okay.
point out, Toph, that I'm around the corner from Santos, what formerly Santos Party House. Right now, it's just over
That
there.
place was a
on
fun
Fancy.
spot. I
It was
would,
a lot of fun.
maybe you have to go into Minecraft and make it yourself. Now it's kind of
Yeah.
like this is a mission for you. Like
But
you have
see,
to. Make
that was
Santos Party House
entirely
too.
plausible because Andrew WK also did a kids show for a while. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah. He's prolific. He's
Yeah.
a cultural icon, a national treasure.
Yeah.
This is me trying to manifest more Andrew WK into the world.
Yeah, I think he's coming back. Okay.
Question 3.
Yes.
Sometimes media inspires brands rather than the other way around. In season 12, episode 15 of The Simpsons, entitled Hungry Hungry Homer, Mr. Burns is caught trying to relocate Springfield's baseball team, the Isotopes, to a new city. In response to that episode, that actual city later changed the name of their minor league farm team to the Isotopes. What city was it?
I truly have no idea, and there are too many options for cities for me to narrow it down.
You're starting with a subset of cities.
Yeah, I like the 3 options better. Robert, are you a big Simpsons fanatic? Do you know this one off the top of your head?
I don't know this one. No, I don't know this one. I've actually not been a Simpsons fanatic.
All right, I'll give you a
stumped
hint.
us.
There is a little bit of a hint in the name the Isotopes, which was named in Simpsons because the Topes,
Roswell? Is it Roswell?
for Roswell is a very good guess. You are very close. The
Geographically close, or?
Yes, and thematically close.
No, what's the answer?
Albuquerque.
Is Albuquerque very close to Roswell? It's obviously they're both in New Mexico.
Yeah, it's closer than most things to Roswell. There's nothing that's really close to Roswell.
Yeah.
So the name is fitting because New Mexico has a history of kind of nuclear research, starting with the Manhattan Project, obviously. But I have to say, as being somebody who's raised in Albuquerque, I really missed the Albuquerque Dukes. They had a really cute, sort of like old school cartoon Duke. But I also understand that maybe the connotations of the conquistadors might have been something that the city was eager to walk away from. So there were pressures on both sides that I can understand.
Have they since changed their name from the Isotopes, or are they still
the Topes? Go Topes!
leaning into it?
What are we? Double A, triple A?
It's a minor league. They feed into their farm team for the LA Dodgers. I don't know.
How good is their merch? They must have cool merch.
The Topes merch is kind of corny. The Dukes merch, in my opinion, is really cool. You can still get like a throwback Dukes credit card. One of my friends has that, and I was like, "Whoa, where'd you get that dank Dukes card?" I'll post some later in the show notes just so people can get a sense of the graphic universe. I can sing the song. Like those Dukes are coming out swinging, hustling all the way. So I've even got all the the local sort of like cartoon afternoon commercials jingles in my head.
I feel like it's a very and I say this as somebody who grew up outside of Washington D.C. in the suburbs, so this is no shade, but I feel like it's a very kind of like second tier city thing to be really connected to your minor league team, to have like a vibe with that. I kind of wish that we had
I missed that.
Yeah, I didn't. We when I was outside DC, the Senators were long gone, and
Robert, where did you grow up? I didn't even
in Fairfax, Virginia, or Chantilly, Virginia. Actually,
Virginia side.
Yeah, so we didn't have anything. We heard about the Senators, and we were waiting for the Nationals to show up, and so there was nothing really to be aligned to except for the Orioles, which never felt right because like Baltimore was 2 hours away, so that didn't make any sense.
I would love a minor league situation.
There's this whole new world of kind of like sub minor league baseball, like summer league stuff. Portland has an incredible example there. The Portland Pickles. The mascot is Dylan Pickle. And the games are very low stakes. When the Pickles hit, make a run, then the announcer gets on and he puts on the Venga Boys and he just goes, the Pickles, 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 the Pickles, Pickles, Pickles. Like so everybody's sort of like low key wasted or high, but it's just kind of like chill. Nobody's trying to get in a fight. There's no stakes on it.
Yeah.
It's a super fun vibe. Yeah.
It's great.
Recommended. Their merch is sick too.
Yeah, Topher showed me their merch. It's pretty dope.
Yeah.
I think I'm more into the Portland Pickles merch than the Dukes merch if you are choosing between the two to send me something.
Noted.
I love this. Rameez has started a tradition on Stranger Coordinates where we send merch to every
I like it.
Random
I like it.
minor league baseball team.
Yes.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what we like to do at the end is, we've been kind of leading the way here, but We, at this point of the expedition, like to kind of turn it over to you and do what we call an exercise we call omnipotent brand manager. So imagine in your mind, this is a thought experiment. You've been promoted to the most powerful brand manager in history. So you've been demoted from founder and CEO to brand manager. But you've been promoted to the most powerful brand manager in history, and you have the span of a single project to do anything you want. You can do anything. You can change the trajectory of a brand. You can do a cool event. What brand would you want to work with for that project, and what would you do? What is calling out to you in terms of a thing you want to get your hands on?
All right. This brand is actually fascinating. It's got $2 billion of revenue, 38 million members. It's been around for 70 years. And so it's actually much more successful by all measures, basically, than all of the cool brands. But I do not think it's considered a cool brand. This brand is the AARP.
Oh.
That is the American Association of Retired Persons.
Yeah.
I don't know its status as a C Corp or a not-for-profit exactly, but I do know that it just prints money. And there's one problem, which is one of the A's stands for American, but my project would be to take this brand global.
Oh, interesting.
And I think
that's so smart.
I think that the fascinating part about this brand is if you think about like all of these media companies, they want to just reach everyone, and they just kind of aren't, if you're trying to be something to everyone, you're kind of nothing to no one, so to speak. Where we started with the antenna brand is you really have to mean something specific to a specific group of people. You got to get both of those things right. And so if you're trying to build a brand for everyone, it tends not to work. And if you're trying to build the everything brand for someone, it also tends not to work. What the AARP has done really, really well is that they've picked a group and they basically say, you're not allowed to be in this club. You're not in that group. And then they deliver only products and services that the people in that group would really, really want, right? Whether that's insurance or healthcare advice or anything that a retired person would really need. They're there for you. And the kicker is that they have this incredible media front end, top of funnel to do it. So like if you're turning 65, you are going to get AARP magazines. You're going to get mailers. You're going to get targeted with digital content. And it's going to be highly relevant to you because chances are you're thinking about retirement. You're thinking about Medicare. You're thinking about downsizing your home. You're thinking about paying for your kids' college. And so it's highly relevant at that time. And that content serves as an incredible top of funnel to maybe start a banking relationship or a product relationship that's obviously way more valuable to the AARP than just a reader. And they did this one thing that's actually something that traditionally people associate with the internet, which is basically there's riches and niches, right? Like there's now a way to reach everyone globally in a given niche. And so if, in the magazine culture days, you were trying to do a, skate culture magazine like Vice or something, well, it was pretty hard. Like you'd have to go get, the copy of the magazine to everyone. And so you're kind of limited to maybe like Brooklyn or maybe New York. With the internet, now everyone in that same skate culture kind of demographic, psychographic is reachable without needing to ship anything anywhere. Same thing with retired people, right? They all kind of want the same things. They all are reachable now. And there are a ton of them. I don't know if you heard about the demographics of Western countries, but there are a ton of retired people that are just getting to retirement age, have incredible amounts of money, and are just looking to spend it on their passions, their kids, etc. And so I feel like right now, building on this existing organization's strengths and the big macro kind of shift to an aging demographic in Western cultures, you could basically just make this play to capture all retired peoples, and then you could sell them incredible things: vacation homes, retirement locations in lower tax places, communities like, residential like versions of WeWork for people their age, all kinds of things. I think you could make an absolute killing here. The problem is that it is the American Association of Retired Persons, and so you would need a rebrand. I don't know what you would call it. Though. I think we would need to brainstorm. I don't think
Yeah.
GARP is the winning brand.
I was just thinking GARP, and I was like,
GARP
don't
too.
say that, GARP. Don't
Well,
say
you know
GARP.
they pronounce it ARP. The
Do they?
slogan for a while was "You don't know ARP," I believe. And so they were leaning into ARP, but I do not think they should lean into GARP. I think they should lean into the product direction of GARP, just not the brand. So that is the brand that I would
That's
pick as
fascinating.
an omnipotent brand manager.
That's super smart. So beyond the magazine, what, because you're right, they do have this wrapped audience. What type of media do they serve and control? Like, it seems like this would be an incredibly rich opportunity to do more than just send a magazine with help I've fallen, I can't get up ads and things like that.
So the magazine, I assume, is the biggest touch point. They do have a big digital media presence. It's obviously totally foreign to the three of us. But the way they monetize is, they offer, I think, Medicare Advantage, so supplemental Medicare. They offer credit cards and insurance. And then I've seen like a bunch of discounts, like if you're a veteran, for example. Well, if you're an AARP member, you get discounts on a car rental or a flight or what have you. And so the way they're monetizing the audience is actually commerce or, real products. And so those products are commodity products, basically, right? You could get insurance from a million places.
Yeah.
Why do you buy it from the AARP? It's because you have a brand affiliation and loyalty with them through the media. And then, for AARP, the nice thing for them is they're kind of just a pass-through. And so it's almost like an affiliate scheme, but it's not. It's more than that. They actually, they control the brand of the credit card and all of that. And it's just a huge growing niche, right? So it's like, niche, but, retired people, when hundreds of millions of people are getting to retirement age at the moment in very wealthy Western countries, is like stretching the definition of niche a little bit. So I think there's a ton of power there.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. I feel like every time we talk with you, we learn lots of interesting little tidbits, and we got riches and niches today.
I know. I was just going to call that one out too.
But we also got to witness the creation of the anti-brand terrorist cell.
GARP versus Antifa.
Yeah.
Carbon and Tibra, a battle for the ages.
Yeah. So, Rameez, we really, really appreciate you joining us today. This has been such a pleasure, as always. We love talking with you.
Thanks for having me. I'll look forward to my Portland Pickles merchandise.
You're not going to be
We think a
disappointed.
hat.
You
We
are
want a
not going
hat.
to be
We want a
disappointed.
shirt. What are we looking for here?
There's koozies.
Of course, there's koozies.
Yeah.
Are there wristbands? There must be wristbands.
There's even free tattoos on Tuesday. They have free tattoo Tuesday. You can get Dylan Pickle put wherever you want. So if you make it out here, we'll make
All
that
right,
permanent.
I hand that Dylan Pickle.
That is the most Portland shit ever. Like, almost every time we have a conversation, I'm like, I have to say that's the most Portland shit I've ever heard.
We know how to do it.
Well, on the prospect of Rameez getting a Dylan Pickle tattoo, we're gonna wrap this up and thank everyone for joining us. Thanks, Rameez. If you want to learn more about Territorial and how we help brands find their place in the world, go to visit our website. It is weareterritorial.com, and follow us on LinkedIn. Look for this episode real soon. Thanks so much, guys. Everybody, take care. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you all.